Hello everybody. I am probably one of the only people who is recording himself because he has nothing to say. Yeah. I'm just riding my bicycle. Oops. It's a nice morning. It's not cold. I slept nicely. Oh, I was up a little bit last night, and when I was awake, I wrote about indoctrination, and what I wrote was somehow, digging up, unearthing. It was making clear. It was revealed, by saying what I believe about indoctrination. It just was so clear that everything we say when we engage in disembodied language is actually a form of indoctrination. Indoctrination being the mechanism by which people try to gain power over others. Why would anybody want to indoctrinate anybody? It's because they want to have power over other people. And they do that as a group, as one group having power over another group. It is a group behavior, and disembodied language is a group behavior. And so when you begin to listen to yourself and have embodied language, then you're done with disembodied language. You're done with the group behavior. You engage in your own embodied language, and you're no longer indoctrinating anybody. But most importantly, of course, you're not indoctrinating yourself. And how does anyone indoctrinate themselves? Well, you have all sorts of beliefs about reality which are just absolutely not true. So, whether you know it or not, with your usual way of talking, you have been telling yourself all kinds of things which are absolutely not true. And most important of which is, of course, that you have a mind and that you have inner language. Because, there is no inner language. And so, of course you feel uncomfortable about your mind. You feel uncomfortable about believing in something which isn't true. You cannot feel comfortable about something which is false. Your only comfort can come from something which is true. And your comfort comes from knowing and saying and accepting and expressing that there is no inner language. And that this whole history that we all have with this belief that there is inner language, that history is just false. This is how we come to terms with that history. There's no other way. And so you've been indoctrinating yourself. You have been indoctrinating yourself with your own language. You have unknowingly forced your language on your life, on your reality, and you've said, this is my reality, this is who I am, this is who I believe to be, this is what I stand for, this is what is important to me. Well, once you begin to speak with yourself and listen to yourself, you realize that nothing of all that stuff is true. You've never done that, but I hope you're going to. And I'm just saying that on your own behalf, because I hope for you that you are going to do it, because you do yourself an enormous favor if you liberate yourself from the illusion that there is inner language and that you are what you believe yourself to be. Yeah. All of that is trouble. All of that is conflict, problem. That's your life. So your life is going to take an enormous turn for the better if you abandon this idea of inner language and if you acquire your embodied language. Like this, I'm having embodied language. Yeah. I'm not trying to force my language on the reality. I cannot do that. I've tried to be like everybody else, but I couldn't. It never worked for me. It always backfired. And yeah, of course you can say I'm a problem. I have that problem. It's my personal story or something like that. No, it's not. It's everybody's story. Yeah, it really is. It's everybody's story. Everybody's having a problem with the fact that we believe in utter nonsense. Yeah. Yeah. Due to the way in which we were conditioned to talk. Yeah, we were conditioned to speak in such a way that you do not listen to yourself. You do not speak to hear yourself. No, that is it. That's crazy. Yeah, you speak to others. You speak to listen to others. Yeah, or to make other people listen to you. Yeah, and you don't speak to listen to yourself, to hear your own sound, to recognize that, wow, I am my own listener. Of course, I can. You do not speak to liberate yourself from your history of conditioning, to be free. Yeah. So your very way of talking is against your freedom. Yeah. And you've never even let yourself know. Well, I've been speaking with myself about this for the last 45 years. So I know what I am talking about for myself. Yeah, you have to know for yourself. But I know for myself how incredibly important it is to talk with myself in the midst of this world where everybody is having disembodied language, where nobody, maybe a handful of people, maybe one or two once in a while, sporadically have a little bit of momentary interest in this issue. Yeah, that has sort of just helped me in my process to recognize how important this is. That, you know, even though people have been temporarily agreed with me or temporarily had some embodied language, nobody, to my knowledge, has really continued with this. Nobody has really crystallized it, embellished it in such a way that they recognize that this is the most important thing. All these other things distract us from this. And if you keep busy with it, as everybody is, because we all want to get away from our problems. We all want to still have some kind of a sense that our life is enjoyable. Well, what do? We endlessly move away from our language. And all of our activities that we have to sort of pretend as if we're doing okay, to pretend as if other things are just as enjoyable, just as important. No, we are endlessly in denial about who we are because our language isn't working for us. Our language is used in an incorrect manner. How can it be otherwise? And yes, the very fact that we are unable to express what we truly experience, because how can you do that if you do not listen to yourself? You can't. So the fact that we are not able to accurately describe our own experience, it's very dissatisfying. It's very upsetting. And everybody is trying to take it out on others, because that's what you do when you're always busy with others. You want to make other people responsible for what happens to you, for what you do to yourself, for how you use your language. All right, well, I have nothing to say. I mean, I don't consider this as saying something. I mean, I have already said it, and I have said it again, and I will continue to say it. It doesn't matter to me. To me, it doesn't matter that it is the same. It doesn't matter. It is not the same, by the way. It is new because I am saying it today. I'm saying it in this way today. It's a nice title of my video. I'm saying it in this way today. Yeah. I'm not a broken record. No. You are a broken record. As a matter of fact, you're making a lot of noise. And that's what is also bothering you too. Your own noise. You don't want to hear your own noise, but you're making it. How paradoxical is that? Yeah. If you don't like your own noise, you should stop making it, but you can't. Because you cannot stop your conditioning history. No. Okay. So you are believing in this insane narrative that you are talking with yourself inside of you, that you have a mind, that you believe it. You have to believe it because everybody else believes it. You're out of your mind. How dare you? How dare you? How dare anybody say that there is no mind? Yeah. That's freaky. It's out there. It's totally against everything. Well, let me tell you something. This is what came up in my conversation last night. And it was not a very long conversation either. It was just something that that came about. It had to. It could, and therefore it did. You know, this is always the case in embodied language. Everything that can happen will happen. And everything that can be said will then be said. You know, that's just a beautiful phenomenon. Totally self-evident. And so what was that? What was this great revelation? It was of course already known, but it had not been articulated that clearly, that precisely. Everybody knows that people make a big deal about death. Yeah? Supposedly death is something... people make a big deal out of that. The Pope just died, okay? Make a big deal out of his death. If a family member dies, make a big deal out of a death. Oh, so sad. Oh, so terrible. Oh, we're so sad. We miss him. The fact of the matter is, when people die, even though, of course, people may have problems with their processing of loss, and they have all kind of complications, complicated loss, they call that, whatever. People who die, they are just forgotten. They can make a monument, they can make a palace, they can make write a book, they can have another film or whatever, another documentary, how important they were. But people have forgotten. People who have lived have died, and they are gone forever. But we make a big deal out of death. Why? We can't accept death. We must have some sort of a sense, like stupid, really stupid, about that something continues. Oh, we have a soul. There's a heaven. There's an afterlife. There's a next life. All just total, absolute nonsense. You don't have a soul. You don't have a self. How are you supposed to have a soul if you don't even have a self? There's no inner you doing what you do. There's no inner being. Higher self or whatever. True self. All nonsense. All just gobbledygook created by your stupid disembodied language. So why I'm saying all this? Well, I'm talking about death. I'm talking about the big deal people make about death. Oh, death is so... when he or she died, my life was changed forever. And of course, there's a big change when people we love die. And we have maybe relied on them, or maybe we have loved them, or maybe we have felt some goodness because of them, and maybe we do in a sense miss them, but that's all just temporary, because these people are gone. They are not coming back. And your whole ceremony, whatever you do when people are dying, because everybody makes a big deal out of death. It's all just unnecessary. It's all just to make it seem as if something continues, but there's nothing that continues. You're just gone. Morning. There's nothing. You have been here, and then you're gone. And you cannot accept that. You just cannot accept that. You have to have something to sort of fill that up. Yeah? You cannot accept that you're only here now. You must have something that supposedly continues. And yet you know very well, everybody knows very well, the priest who does the ceremony in the church, yeah? You see, yesterday they chose a new pope. And you see all these men with their robes in the church, in the Vatican. They walk around and they do their ritual. And they do their, their prayers and their stuff. They all know that it's all nonsense. Of course they do. You know, the priest, I was raised Catholic. And the priest, just like an actor goes to the dressing room to put on their costume and put up their makeup, the priest does exactly the same. I've seen it. I once tried to be an altar boy. It was a long time ago. I didn't become one because I wasn't cut out for that. But I've seen it. I've seen the priest get into his robe. It's just so bizarre how all of that is just a show. It's just a show they put up. It's just some sort of an act. And it's a spiritual act or whatever. No, it's just an act. All your prayers, all your beliefs are just, phony acts. But no, we're not supposed to say that because, you're touching on something sacred, eternal life, or you're going to heaven. No, you're not going to heaven. Nobody goes to heaven. And all these Muslims, they can believe that they can be with Allah, but they're not going to Allah. It's just not true. They can pound their head. What they want is domination. That's what they want. Yeah, that's what they want. That's indoctrination. That's what's happening. But we are not supposed to talk about that. In the same way as we're not supposed to talk about the indoctrination that occurs with disembodied language. Because disembodied language, we force our language on reality, and we always supposedly have so much to say. Oh yeah, so important what I say. That's why you must listen. That's why you must do as I say. No, you don't have to do what I say. And I don't care, quite frankly, whether you do what I say or not. I really don't. It would be great if you did. If you use 2025 as a time to verify what I say for yourself and to recognize that it is true, there is no inner language. There's only overt language, of course. It would be great if you did that. And then you would also notice that, once your language is working properly, because, you are now listening to yourself, that is the proper way to speak. There is no real speaking happening if you do not listen to yourself. Yeah. So what we have called speaking in disembodied language, in which we don't listen to ourselves, is not really speaking. We're just forcing something on somebody else. We're forcing something on ourselves. We're indoctrinating. Yeah. And of course, this whole ceremony in the church is also indoctrinating. Yeah, children are indoctrinated to believe in God. As a child, I was having questions about the miracles that we were told. And the answers that I got for these questions, they didn't satisfy me. I could not believe in miracles. I could not believe in any of the miracles that we heard about. Yeah, these stories from the Bible. So I could not believe in it. And as a child, I was going fishing, and I saw a dead fish, or I saw a fish that was half alive, and then it died. It didn't move anymore. That fish was gone. That fish was dead. Yeah? I don't know. It's just unbelievable that people believe there's life after death. But they do. And why is that a big deal? Well, I tell you, once you discover the difference between your embodied language and your disembodied language, you realize that this whole hoopla that we make about death, that's actually not the real issue. People have, you could say, projected onto death all their uncertainties. Yeah, death, that's a final, yeah, what is it? Death is such a, yeah, difficult thing to deal with, because it really means the end of everything. Yeah, it does. But is it difficult to deal with? No, it's not. But why is it so difficult to deal with? Yeah? I mean, that's a good question to ask. Very legitimate. Why is it so difficult to deal with death? If there is such a difficulty. It is, of course, because language stops. We cannot talk anymore. And the person is evaporated, the person is gone, the person is dead. And there's nothing anymore. Nothing that we believed, nothing that we have talked about, nothing. It's all gone. All language is gone. That's the real issue. The real issue is that we don't want to acknowledge the fact of life that there is no inner language. We already live with that fact while we are alive. And yeah, once we die, our language stops. No matter whether we were having embodied language or disembodied language, all language stops. Yeah. And so, yeah. I told you, I have nothing to say. And there's not a voice from the dead. No. All these fantasies about, yeah, about zombies and stuff like that. And people that have died and they come back alive again and all that. And it's all just nonsense. So once you have your embodied language, you die to this core belief of your language, that there is inner language. You die to that core belief. There is no inner language. You cannot have embodied language unless you get to this truth, that there is no inner language. There never was. I could say some more about indoctrination. How about this? We keep having disembodied language so that we can continue to indoctrinate ourselves and each other. Yeah, we are so driven or so conditioned to perpetuate our beliefs. That's what is happening. So we need to have disembodied language to have our beliefs. Yeah. If we are going to listen to ourselves, if we're going to talk with ourselves, it's done. Yeah. So we need to keep indoctrinating ourselves and say like, oh no, I am somebody. I believe something. I will continue with my disembodied language. I'm not going to listen to myself. Somebody else must listen to me. And no. I am not even my own listener. No. I just got to keep doing what I need to do. I got to make myself do it. I got to persist in my belief. Yeah, this is what people have done. This is what people have done historically. And it's what they're still doing. And so people are forcing themselves, forcing each other to do all kinds of things which are completely, utterly meaningless, unnatural. It's just horrible how we are all in this illusion of inner language, which keeps bothering us, which keeps distracting us from the real issue, which is that language is overt, which is that language can only be spoken and listened to. It can only be written and read. There is no inward language. And once you have that clear, yeah. Maybe you need to repeat it a couple of times. Maybe I'm pretty sure you do. Unless you do. Unless you say to yourself, no, it's really true. You're not gonna hear it. You're not gonna, and by hearing it, I mean, live like it. Yeah. Yeah. I don't care whether you hear it. I don't care whether you're convinced. It's not about what it is. You don't need to convince yourself. Yeah. I don't care whether you speak and listen to yourself. Now, do you live by it? Is it so true that it determines how everything is according to this undeniable truth? There cannot be any language inside of you. Yeah. There cannot be a mind. And so what do you say? How do you relate? What is your life like if there's no language inside of you? What do you stop doing? Because there never was any language inside of you. Yeah. So the real issue is not that. No. The real issue is this inevitable transformation which is waiting for us, just like the earth, which was already round, even though we believed it was flat. The earth was waiting for us until we caught up with our language to say, no, it is round. The truth is still waiting for you. Yeah. And yeah, not just waiting, the truth is bothering you, because the fact is that you based your life on lies. And that's a problem. Yeah, it is. Yeah. So ultimately it is the problem which is going to be so dire, so apparent, that, yeah, whoops. Hey. Sorry. Oh, you're okay. It is going to be necessary for you to reappraise what's going on. Why are we having all these problems? Well, why do we repeat our problems? Why haven't we dealt with this? Well, there's all these reasons. Okay. Now, this is a good point to sort of just nice big tree here. Oh yeah. If you have listened, and if you have also acknowledged, as I did, and as I still do, that I do not have anything to say, you will take what I say into consideration. And when you then begin to have your own experiment with your own embodied language, yeah, you're going to, in 2025, that is this year, yeah, you're going to have this experiment, and you're going to verify for yourself what it is like to talk with yourself and to listen to yourself. And you're going to talk also about this topic with yourself. And then in 2026, we are hopefully going to have a conversation together. That would be great. Yeah. We're going to have this conversation with each other. Yeah. It will be a conversation between enlightened people, because we will have ongoing embodied language. Yeah. We will be talking about our language enlightenment, truly. Mm-hmm.